Hello everybody. It is May 19th, and by that I mean it's May 20th at 1 a.m. Yeah, I'm very punctual about making sure I do videos in a reasonable amount of time. Actually, I planned on doing this a lot earlier and got distracted. That's my own fault. Mind you, part of that has to do with my anxiety about the last few days. As you probably already know at this point, I did a couple of videos that were difficult for me. And so, forgive me if I'm a little... In fact, I got the videos done basically as quickly as I could. So that way I can get it done and over with and I can start worrying about recovering. Our house is a mess. I'm just like, and eventually I get my sleep schedule on track and everything, and I say it, but I know that it's gonna be a lot more difficult than just that. That's a problem. It's like you work really hard to find the key to a door, only to open the door and find that there's another door that needs another key. You would think, it'd be over once you get through it once, but it doesn't. For me, I've always described PTSD and anxiety as a whole. You always hear of the fight or flight response. When you are in a tough situation, your body goes into a response of adrenaline where you either become very angry and you want to fight, or you want to fly away. It's a protective response. When you're up against the bear, you either have to fight the bear or run away from the bear. People with anxiety and PTSD, it's broken. So imagine if things that normally wouldn't cause the fight or flight make it go off. And being in that fight or flight for a long period of time, it wears you out mentally and physically. On top of the whole, your mind is going run, or fight. And so you're having to balance those, especially when it comes to things that have, driving a car doesn't require you to have fight or flight. In fact, having a fight or flight in a car is a dangerous situation. Your mind is laser focused. We have a term for it. It's called road rage. Not quite, but along the same lines. There's a lot I could be doing in my life to be better. To be healthier, to function as a normal human. And all that kind of ends up being put on the back burner until my anxiety. And most of the time, I'm supposed to continue trying to function to some degree of normalness. It's called exposure therapy, which means even though you're having anxiety issues, you're going through them normally, so that way at the end of the situation, your mind goes, oh, bad things didn't happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy, and I still think it's a good idea to limit the amount of exposure. I'm not going to go out to the middle of a minefield. Not only that, but it's just exhausting. You're constantly having to fight in a way that you really shouldn't need to. It shouldn't take as much effort as it does when you have PTSD or anxiety. Getting up shouldn't be as exhausting. Trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing shouldn't be exhausting. Getting yourself to do simple things, going to see people, being around people, going to new places, getting things done. The imaginary stress. I mean, the stress is real, but it's caused by an imaginary villain in a way. And it transcends your actual thought process. It's not that I'm sitting there and I'm going, I think a bad thing is going to happen. It's my body and mind reacting to the possibility. It's against my own will. It's not something I choose to. There's things I can do to help alleviate and to avoid. But for the most part, it's not something that's in my control. Or at least when it comes to when it hits me. I can't flip it on like an on and off. So, again, I'm trying to get a better relationship with God. But again, again and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, again, and again, again. Sorry, I'm literally probably doing the same jokes and stuff, and at this point it's less of a joke and more, this is the way I live my life. I say these things and I do these things, and this is the way I am. I want to have a better relationship with God, and then something like this happens, and it happens all the time. And it gets in the way between trying to have a better relationship with God. And there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's exhausting. Just absolutely exhausting. But it also doesn't help. When you are in that mode, your brain isn't working correctly. Sometimes when my anxiety is bad, it affects my ability to think properly, as well as my ability to make cognitive decisions. And on top of that, I've always been a very forgetful person. It's just something I have to deal with. My wife is more forgetful than me, but I'm still extremely forgetful. So even if I say to myself, tomorrow, I want to focus on God, there's a very good chance I'm going to forget. And then I don't remember it until it's over with. And there's certain things I can't do. Like, I can't lay in bed and think too much about God, because it'll keep me awake all night. Which is its own issue and its own problem. Anyway, if you think that I have told you all the military stories, I have not. There's still a good portion of things, and a lot of it is aggravation of what is already there. So buckle up for all that. But even outside of that, I have lots and lots of stories, and I love stories. And part of that is trying to remember all the stories of my life and all my experiences and stuff. Now I always wonder if I can talk about my stories in one way, shape, or form, even with videos like this and stuff, because it's just always been a passionate part of my life. And maybe I'll talk more about that, and if people seem to want to, but we'll see. Anyway, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. And now to check the time to make sure this video isn't too long. The video is too long. I guess you don't get a dance today.